Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we will talk about being ready for Jesus' return. During college, I worked as a server for some restaurants. There was always this tension between being efficient in our jobs and not allowing the place to look and become a complete disaster. This is because our GM would remind us that the health inspector could show up at any moment. Our GM was known to say, if we only knew when this inspector would come. The question I wondered was, why? What would happen if we didn't live in the tension of his imminent arrival? Well, many Christians today are like our GM. They want to know the exact moment that Jesus will come back. But I wonder why. I think it's because they think it would change how they live. But would it? Should it? That's what we want to talk about today in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, beginning in verse 1. Paul writes, "Now concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you. For you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." In chapter 4, Paul assured these believers that when Christ returns, he will come back for the dead and the living. The return will result in the resurrection of the dead, so they don't need to worry if he'll get everybody. He surely will. Now in chapter 5, Paul shifts the focus from reassurance to reminding them how to live in light of Jesus' return. In verse 1, Paul says, "Now concerning the times and seasons." So what exactly is Paul referring to? It's the time that Jesus is coming back. When is this exact moment? No one knows. So they don't need to worry about it. They don't need to predict this. Jesus was clear. It is not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority. If that's not clear enough, Jesus said in the Mount of Olives, "But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only." You see, no one knows. So stop guessing. And friend, don't trust anyone who claims to have found it, calculated it, or been told the date. They do not know. So if we don't know the date, then what should we focus on? Verse 2 says, "For you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." A friend of mine is a pastor in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Brazil. He said, "You can never let your guard down. You must always be prepared to be attacked." Well, Paul is saying that Jesus' return is not known, but will come like a thief in the night. It's like a home invader who comes unexpectedly and intently. So, if you knew when Jesus would return, how would it change how you live? For some, you may push the limits of your excess until the last second, knowing that it really wouldn't matter after Jesus returns. But that's not how you should live. That's not what you should do. Knowing that Jesus' return is imminent should move us to intentionally living for God to his glory. Just like my friend who is always on guard for an attack, we should be living as if every moment matters to invest in others, share the gospel, steward our resources well, and keep short accounts. Not because our salvation depends on it, but because our salvation demands it. Jesus is coming soon. I desire to be ready. I want to be there holding my head up high instead of being ashamed of my actions. Friend, Jesus is coming soon. I want to be ready. How about you?